right? So if you've been feeling heavy in your body, feeling heavy in your emotions, it's normal. The simulation is breaking down. The ego and its attachments to who we think we are, how we think things should be, we're questioning what's really true, what's really true. And that's an awesome thing because it's leading us back to purity. We're refining the purity of how we're living, of what we're sharing, of what we're choosing, of who, and it's just be gentle with yourselves in that process. If you're feeling like you're in the void and like you're lost and you don't know what's next, and everything feels up in the air, awesome. The trick is just to try and be patient with it, because the nature of us is we're like, I feel stagnant, I feel stuck, I don't know, I'm confused, do I still want to keep doing what I'm doing? And we're being called more and more over and over again, and you hear me saying this all the time, to come back to our true work. Our true work is who you came to be, not what you came to do. So, tend to your frequency. Most importantly, that's giving yourself as much time and space as you can, even if it doesn't look like what apparently your spiritual practice is meant to look like. We need to really retrain our nervous system to, or I would say not even retrain, I'm going to use the word mentor. We need to coach and mentor our nervous systems to be able to receive, integrate, and be in these new frequencies of energy, you see, because our nervous systems have got used to being in fight or flight. They've got used to being in contraction and constriction. Even if you're relaxed most of the time, the human wound, the original wound, is anxiety. It's contraction, it's constriction. Think about it. Everything that we feel that holds us back, where's the first place you feel it? It's in the solar plexus, right? It's in the diaphragm. There's always a, because we're wired physiologically, we're kind of wired for survival. So we're almost reprogramming and healing that original blueprint. It's normal because it's also there to keep us safe, right? But I don't need to tell you, about the trauma response, the fight or flight. As we are in this modern world, we're being hammered with constant stresses that are putting us into that state, and then our nervous systems aren't switching off. So we've become used to being in this contracted and on edge state, and it can kind of feel a little bit weird when all of a sudden we're not worried about anything. It's moving us really beyond the trying and more into the being, and it's such a relaxed state. Because really a lot of this energy that can flatten us is awesome energy. It's good stuff that's being received. But as I said before, our physical bodies that need to integrate and calibrate all of that energy, it's a lot. So self-care is no longer a luxury. It is a necessity. It has to be a priority for you to take the time to fill your cup and to carve that space out and make that time for that to happen, because it won't happen by itself. Like you have to, it's weird, isn't it? Like the things that we most need, we kind of almost have to force ourselves into doing it, but you have to, it's a discipline. Self-care is a discipline. We want to be in harmony with all aspects of our being. So we're tending to the spiritual, to the energetic, to the emotional, to the psychological, but we also really don't want to forget the exquisiteness of the physical body as the temple that holds our spirit. And that has been a massive part of the healing journey for me, and what raises my energy and keeps my energy growing and strong and vibrant is the true embodiment that my body is divinity, right? And that's the process, the practice that we're going to do today together is a meditation that we're going to do to bring that energy into the body, that it feels delicious. Because honestly, my loves, I can guarantee that most of you think you're grounded and you're walking around most of the day not even feeling your feet, right? Most of us think that we're in the body and we are not. And there's so many reasons for that. You know, as light workers, as old souls, there's a fear of being in the body, whether you realize it or not. You're like, whoa, it's dangerous down there. Last time I was there, I got burned at the stake. Are you kidding me? I'm not hanging out down there. You know, there's all of these subconscious things that are going on running that program as well. But when we do fully drop into the body and start to marry these energies, and I'm still figuring this out because they've been showing me every day. I've been getting something. And so you know, what I'm going to share with you today is what I've been working with myself, and it becomes, it is the Khalsa energy. You know, other cultures will call it Kundalini or Chi or Prana, but it's like the Sami energy, this that we talk about, this the highest frequencies of this light, the Sami. It really encompasses all of the essences, right? So remember, we've got Yacha, Yankai, Munne, Kausai, the four essences. And when you tune in to those essences and how they feel, they each make up this high frequency of energy, like a melting pot, like the colors of the rainbow all coming in together. And when they're balanced and harmonized in the body, then it's like it's like an energetic orgasm. It's so it gives so much vitality. And when we can learn, practice, it's not learning because you know it, it's innate in your body. But interestingly, it takes a little bit of, again, a little bit of discipline to do it, because we've become so sort of a bit disconnected and a bit locked up in the body. And also through all of our other beautiful practices like yoga, like breath work, we've been taught and shown to breathe in ways that mean that we're either focusing on the physicality, we're focusing on the energy, or we're focusing on the breath. Whereas when you marry those three things together, and it's actually quite a subtle movement where you work with your consciousness and your awareness to go right into the skin and the fascia and the muscle and the bone. And as you take your awareness there, you flood it with energy. And as you breathe with this energy into these points where you feel the contraction, right? Because where you feel the points of the contraction, that is where the trauma lies. That's where anything that hasn't, and trauma, what is trauma? Too much, too soon, right? Of anything, doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a cataclysmic event or a small thing, it's too much, too soon, can't process it, right? Don't have the tools to process it. And that's where it gets stuck, in those areas of contraction. So as we start to breathe into those areas, and then we feel that point of contraction and we breathe into it a little bit more, bringing that Khalsa energy, bringing that Sami energy in with the awareness, with the energy, with the breath, with the subtle movement in the body, then as we, and it feels stuck, and then we go again and it pops through. And what's happening that's causing the feeling of heaviness in the body, contraction, pain, tiredness, all of this stuff that's going on, is the energy is trying to get through those areas of stagnation. But it's kind of like if water kept bashing up against a rock, it's either going to find its way around or eventually it's going to wear the rock down and push through. So as this energy is being activated, received and activated within us, this is what's happening. It's the energy itself is finding the areas in our being where it wants to, needs to, because it wants to expand you into the next level, push through. And that's why you feel the heaviness in the emotion, heaviness in the body, the headaches and all of the things. When this, I'm just going with this because it's, I keep going off what I want to talk about, but it's coming through because it needs to. When this happens, it can feel a little scary. When it actually pops through and the energy starts to come, sometimes you can feel a little bit like you're losing your mind, right? You can feel a little bit on the edge, like you're dissolving and you're like, you know, and you're not able to grasp things in the same way that you might. It's a feeling of, yes, of losing control. But who is it that's losing control? What is it that's losing control? Is it the real you? It's the ego, right? The mind, the negative mind, yep. So it's that part of you that is believes it to be this collection of beliefs, of thoughts, of experiences, that believes that you are the program that was given to you, that believes that you are the belief systems. That's the part that's losing control. But there's an invitation from the divine to melt into the fear, right? Feel the fear and melt into it anyway. Grounding is important, of course, because we are here and we're in this physical body, and sometimes if you're feeling too expansive or you're doing too much of these things, it's time to then chop wood, carry water, meaning just pull back from doing more medicine or more breath work or more expansive things, and just rein it back in and do things that are very in the body, that are very grounded, that feel really delicious. And I feel that this somatic breathing practice that I was sharing with you bridges this gap. I've noticed since I started practicing this, I mean, honestly, some days this is kind of replaces my meditation, and often I do it while I'm lying in bed. The more delicious you can make it feel, the more you will embody it. The way we're meditating, I believe the way we're meditating is changing. It's no longer this and focusing on this. I mean, there's a room for that, of course, that will always be there. And, you know, it's just about emptying and sort of waiting for the transcendence to come. The way that we're meditating now is much more, it's more delicious, it's more fluid. It's like putting us back in touch with our connection, our essence, the beauty of nature, because that is how we're going to move through these times, is by remembering, staying connected to, awakening the beauty on this planet when there is so much around us that appears to not be beautiful. The energy that's coming through is so high frequency that it is going to pull out the shadow. It's going to draw out the stinkiest, most rotten crap on the planet. And that, unfortunately, is a part of the process. So what do we do about it? We do what we can. We help where we can. We must learn how to feel compassion without being overwhelmed by empathy. Because when we get overwhelmed by the empathy, then we're taken out and we can't do anything at all. Situations like this and like the wars and everything that's going on the planet, especially when we can't do anything physically, may leave us feeling really helpless. But what we can do is build, maintain, be determined that we are going to hold that highest frequency, and we are not letting that shadow take this planet down. We need to continue to come together and focus. This is how the new meditations will be. Hundreds, thousands of people coming together and focusing like the ancient people did. This is where ceremony arose from. That's why they came together like that, to focus their attention and their energy on upliftment, on newness, on solution, on creativity, right? But where there's light, there's always going to be shadow until there's not anymore. And we will get to a place where there's not anymore. But we've been harmonizing the duality for eons, thousands of years, probably the last 12,000 years. And now we're coming to a time where we're going to transcend it altogether. And this is your work.